Simbi and the Enchanted Bird. Once upon a time, in a village far away, lived a girl named Simbi. Simbi was the only daughter of her father, Odejimi. Odejimi was a hunter, and in the village, hunters were looked down upon. They were not respected or regarded in any way. But Simbi and her father were happy and content with the little they had. One day, while Simbi was doing her morning chores, her friends came over to invite her for a day at the stream. Simbi said she wanted to finish her chores and prepare breakfast for her father. Thereafter, she would join them. Simbi's friends tried to wait, but they knew that she was going to take some time, so they left without her. Simbi prepared her father's breakfast and served it to him in their living room. She spent some time talking and laughing with her father and enjoying his company before heading out to meet her friends by the stream. On the way, Simbi saw a little girl who was abandoned and scared. She asked her where her parents were. The little girl said she did not know, as she was now lost. Simbi felt so bad for the little girl, who was obviously hungry and cold. Simbi was determined to help the little girl find her way back home, so she took her by the hand and they walked through the village, hoping to find her house and her family. Simbi and the little girl walked and walked and walked, and finally they came to a hut where a woman was standing outside looking worried. Her eyes lit up as she saw her little daughter with Simbi. She thanked Simbi so much for bringing her daughter home. The little girl also thanked Simbi for her help. Simbi told them not to mention it, as she was glad to help the little girl find her way home. She quickly dashed to the river to meet up with her friends. Unfortunately, when she got to the river, her friends were ready to go back home. They had finished having fun for the day and had packed up their bags. They asked Simbi why she was late. She told them she saw a little girl on the way who was helpless and needed to find her way home, and so Simbi had to help her locate her mother. Her friends were unimpressed, as they had grown tired of Simbi's lateness and what they thought was her unnecessary kindness. They told Simbi not to take their friendship for granted. After all, she was just a lonely hunter's daughter and should be grateful that they are inviting her to spend time with them. Days passed, and once again Simbi was doing her chores at home when her friends arrived all dressed up for a birthday party. She told them that she would join them shortly, as she just needed to tidy up the house. Frustrated, her friends left once again without her. Eager not to miss the party, Simbi quickly told her father that she would not be able to spend time with him this morning, as she did not want to miss the birthday party that they had all been looking forward to. Simbi's friends were at the party enjoying themselves, eating, drinking and dancing. And they laughed at Simbi for missing out on all the fun as usual. They even joked that she will not make it to the party, as she will find yet another boring kind deed to do on her way there. As Simbi was rushing to the birthday party, she saw an old woman with a very heavy tray of food on her head. Simbi could tell that the old woman was in distress. She offered to help her carry her basket to her hut. The old woman was so grateful to Simbi for relieving her of the weight of the basket. Simbi and the old woman walked to her hut. Simbi set the basket down. The old woman was so thankful, and she asked Simbi if there was anything she could do to show her gratitude. But Simbi said nothing at all, as she was already late to a friend's birthday party. When Simbi arrived at the birthday party, her friends were just leaving. The celebrant had gone inside and all the party goers had gone home. Once again, her friends were disappointed in her and even said that they would stop inviting her along to their outings, since Simbi was too busy to make out time to spend with them. They reminded her once again that she was just a lowly hunter's daughter and should be grateful that they were inviting her to birthday parties and other gatherings. Simbi explained to them that there was an old woman on the path and she simply could not walk away without helping her carry her heavy basket of food. Still, they were unimpressed. Simbi walked back home with the gift she had wrapped for the celebrant with tears in her eyes. She felt bad that she missed out on the celebration, but what was she to do? The old woman clearly needed some assistance, and Simbi would not feel right if she did not help her. She walked home with tears falling down her face. Weeks passed, and the queen returned from a very long voyage. She came back to the village with dozens and dozens of beautiful fabrics and wanted to give them out to all the maidens in the village. She invited the town crier and told him to spread the message across the village for all the maidens to come to the palace and receive their gifts. The town crier hurried to the market and loudly spread the message for all to hear. Simbi's friends heard the delightful message and could not wait to dash off to the palace. One of Simbi's friends, called Jiggy, said that they should stop by Simbi's hut and invite her along, but the rest of them refused as Simbi would not come as usual. But Jiggy felt bad. As she watched the girls walk away, she quickly dashed to Simbi's hut and told her what the town crier had said. Simbi was excited and promised to be on her way just as soon as she finished her chores. Jiggy told her to hurry, as lots and lots of people were already on their way to the palace to receive all the gifts that the queen promised to give all of them. This time, Simbi was determined not to miss out. She put her broom away and dashed towards the palace like everyone else. But on her way, she saw a small wounded bird. Everybody else was walking right past the bird, some even kicking it. Simbi moved closer to the bird and saw that it needed some tending. She quickly scooped the bird up and took it home with her. She nursed the bird as quickly as she could, giving it some grains and water to drink. Now slightly feeling better, Simbi was comfortable enough to leave the bird in her room and dash to the palace to join her friends. When Simbi got to the palace, all the beautiful gifts and fabrics the queen brought had been distributed. There was none left for her. She felt sad. Her friends did not even collect one on her behalf. Simbi, with tears in her eyes once again, went home sad. She has missed out on yet another opportunity. When she got to her bedroom, the bird that she rescued earlier could see that she was sad and saw the tears falling down her face. The bird felt bad for Simbi and began to try to cheer her up by dancing and flying this way and that. And shortly after, Simbi began to laugh and the tears dried up. She soon forgot her worries. For days, Simbi and the bird remained inseparable. She even went out to meet her friends in the market with the bird. They did not seem impressed. They told her not to come close to them with that creature. The next time Simbi saw her friends, it was at the river. She came there with the bird. They told Simbi that if she wanted to remain their friend, she had to get rid of the bird for good. Simbi begged that the bird was harmless and had grown to become her companion. They told her to simply choose between the bird and their friendship with her. Simbi was so heartbroken by what her friends had said. She went home with tears in her eyes. Simbi and her friend Jiggy went to the river with the bird. Jiggy did not mind the bird at all, and she found it funny and mysterious. When they reached the river, they saw that all the water had begun to dry up. This only meant one thing: the annual drought was upon them. One of the maidens had to go into the forest and bring out the magical water charm that would allow the water flow again. This had to be done once every year, and the brave maiden that found the water charm was highly respected and regarded in the village. Simbi wondered if she would be so lucky as to be the one to retrieve the water charm this year. The town crier came into the village and made the announcement that it was time for the maidens to embark upon the journey into the enchanted forest to retrieve the water charm. She quickly went home and set the bird down in her room, insisting that she needed to go alone. The bird was in tears as it wanted to accompany Simbi on her mission, but she said she had to go alone and could not risk anything happening to such an enchanted, beautiful bird. Simbi, Jiggy, and the many other maidens headed towards the entrance of the enchanted forest. As they walked and walked and walked, suddenly, Jiggy let out a huge scream. Her leg had hit a jagged rock, and blood gushed out. There were tears in her eyes, as she was in severe pain. Simbi wanted to take her out of the enchanted forest so that she could get some help for her leg, but Jiggy told her to leave her and embark upon the quest to find the water charm. Simbi insisted that she could not leave her friend in such a bad state. Simbi helped her friend Jiggy all the way home. Jiggy was so grateful for her help and prayed that she would be the one to retrieve the water charm. As she made her way back to the enchanted forest, she met the old woman that she helped a long time ago. The old woman said that once she heard the town crier's message, she hurried off to Simbi's hut, but she was not there. She wanted to give her a magical charm that would make her journey inside the enchanted forest easy. She was on her way back when she ran into Simbi right at the entrance of the forest. She gave her the charm and said that if she encountered any difficulty, she should use it. Simbi thanked the old woman so much and rushed into the enchanted forest. As the old woman left, Simbi tucked the charm into her dress. Then she heard a flapping of a bird. As she looked up, it was the enchanted bird she had left at home. Simbi was in shock. How did the bird find her? She tried to chase the bird back home, but the bird stayed and insisted on going with her. Simbi and the bird entered into the forest. The bird flew ahead of Simbi, almost as if it was leading her. They came across her friends, who looked tired and exhausted from their quest. They were not successful in finding the water charm. They told Simbi to just give up, as no one has been able to find the charm. They are all exhausted and tired and hungry and thirsty. But Simbi wanted to try. She and the bird proceeded deeper into the forest. Simbi and the bird walked and walked and walked. She was so tired and sweaty, and she almost wanted to give up as well, when the bird began to fly in another direction. And suddenly they came to a clearing, and she saw something in the distance shining at her. It was the magical water charm. Simbi was in shock. The bird had led her to the magical water charm. Simbi hurried towards it and tried to reach for it, but the charm refused to come down to her. She brought out the charm the old woman had gifted her, and slowly she was able to retrieve the water charm. She was so proud of herself and so happy that she had succeeded in this quest. She raced back to the river and applied the magical water charm, and suddenly the river began to flow. Everybody was happy, as they now had water once again, and the drought would not kill their crops, and they would not die of thirst. Simbi was so happy. She and her father were celebrated across the village, and from that day, they were highly respected and no longer regarded as the lowly hunter and his daughter. Simbi's friends came over to her and tried to celebrate with her. They apologized for calling her a lowly hunter's daughter many times. Simbi forgave them and told them that the enchanted bird they told her to get rid of was what helped her on the quest. They were all ashamed, and they once again begged Simbi to forgive them. Simbi, with her kind heart, forgave them, and they all lived happily ever after. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us. See you in the next one. Bye.